welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new around here, welcome. My name is Karen Randazzo and I am a chemistry teacher in New Jersey. It is the end of the school day on Friday. I had a very busy week with my students. Last week I discussed a little bit about the unit menu that I created for my covalent bonding unit, and then this year I'm kind of juggling both college prep chemistry and honors chemistry. So I talked in my last video about the modifications I made to both and basically how I plan for both of them and differentiate between the two levels. So this week they were finishing that up, and I do feel that my menu design skills are definitely improving. I feel like it went a lot more smoothly. Last year I did do a version of this, but over the summer I spent a lot of time making sure that it was a little bit more cohesive. This was my first time doing the menu with CP, however, but because I've done it with the honors class, I felt a little bit more confident. I felt like I had a better handle on the ways to teach the topics, and they would have an easier time learning it. So overall, it went well. They both classes took their tests today, which was great. I also had a lab this week. So in this lab, technically it's the lab from Flynn, the Borax crystal ornaments. For me, I always like to think of something that I can do with the kids during the holiday season, but I don't ever want to like marginalize any students based on, their religions and things like that. And so I want everybody to feel very included. That's really important for me anyway. And so I really like this lab because it doesn't have to be holiday related. It's basically the kids make a shape out of a pipe cleaner. It could be anything that they want. They can decide it could be their initials. One kid actually spelled out mom, which I thought was really cute. There's different shapes, so you do have Christmas trees and things like that. But what I like is that it's non-denominational, and so I think it's a really good exercise for the kids. And it's a little crafty. It's good for the kids to work with their hands. So anyway, so it's good because I feel like it also helps me to build relationships with the kids, and it's supposed to be fun, and it's something to be enjoyed by all. So with the Borax crystal ornaments, I don't believe in doing labs just for the sake of doing labs. I think it's really important that the students have exposures to the chemistry that's involved. So if you look for the lab by Flynn, you'll see that there aren't a whole lot of post-lab questions. So what I ended up doing was making this lab about teaching about unsaturated, supersaturated, and saturated solutions. So I have the standard front of the lab is the exact same thing from Flynn for the most part. The only thing is I have 250 milliliter beakers that I do in, and I think the actual lab with Flynn calls for 400, I believe. So I don't have as many beakers, and I also don't have a whole lot of space because I'm a teacher on a cart, so that's a whole nother thing. But that's okay because the ornaments will fit in the beaker, and they'll be small, which is fine. It works out just fine. So I went through the pre-lab discussion. We talked a lot about the beaker tongs and how they're not like crucible tongs and how to use them. I showed them the different pipe cleaner options, and everybody got one pipe cleaner. They could choose their color and design whatever they want. And then they did the lab. And what I have is all the different solutions are kind of sitting on the back table. The crystals are going to grow for a couple of days. And then the kids will be able to take them home. But the fun part, for me at least, because I like to talk about this stuff, is talking about crystals and crystal growth. And then, like I said, I related it to unsaturated, saturated, and supersaturated solutions. So not only were the kids engaged in completing the lab, but they also were able to learn some chemistry, which is really nice. The other thing that I brought up to them, which I don't know if you are aware, is that there is a U.S. crystal growing competition, and it has always been my dream to have the kids enter because the crystal growing isn't necessarily one branch of chemistry that I'm an expert in, and what's a better way to learn than to dive right in and start growing your own crystals. So I thought that would be kind of cool. So I actually showed them some of the links on the crystal growing competition site. So they have a lot of links about how to grow a crystal, the materials that you need. All in all, the kids had a great time completing the lab. I think they were really happy to do it. One thing to keep in mind is if you do the lab, don't get the borax solution all over the tabletop, because if you do, it's going to be a heck of a time for you trying to clean it up. So warn your students of spills. Make sure that you are being a little bit vigilant, like especially when the kids are moving the stirring rod and the thermometer, make sure they put it on a paper towel because it is a little bit of a pain in the neck to clean up. What are your favorite holiday labs to do with your kids? I'd love to know what they are. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.